Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 21 Questions. I am your host, Icy. This is 21 Questions. We do this every Thursday, 9 p.m. And this is hosted by my company, the Sit Down UK. What do we do in the Sit Down UK? We are all about curating, encouraging, and impactful and empowering conversations. And when COVID hit, we thought, let's move from live events to online. And so we've been doing this since March 2020, every Thursday, 9 p.m. You've been joining us and we really appreciate that. If you're new to the platform, we do encourage you. We have season 1 and we have season 2 of a whole host of interviews that you can avail yourself of and binge. And you can do that through clicking our IGTV link. Okay, once you click that, you get to see season 1, season 2, and watch the whole thing through. All right. Today, as we always like to do each week, we try to raise money for different organisations and different charities. And today we are picking MTV Staying Alive Foundation. Now, MTV Staying Alive, what they try to do is create content that provides information for young people to make better decisions with their sexual health across the globe, across the world. All right. So, if that interests you, we are encouraging people to donate what you can, £5, £10, £3, £100, whatever it is. What we like to do is make sure each week we are raising money and we're giving back in some way, shape or form. So make sure get involved. What else? Also, please, if you want to get involved in our mailing list, we are at 160 now. Once we hit 200, we're closing the list. Okay, so once we open up our live events, the mailing lists are the first people who are going to find out about the tickets. All right, so if you want to come to our live event, join our mailing list and make sure that you get ahead of the pack. But without further ado, I'm going to come over to Charlotte. We're going to have an amazing conversation tonight. I'm really excited. So let's do that. Big up to everyone that is here and that has popped into the room. Make sure you ping some, and let's make this a great evening. Charlotte, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me? Yeah, cool. My camera.
Oh, there we go.
Can you put my volume up? Oh, cool.
We're here.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I feel like such a rookie. I haven't done a live in so long, and I realised I've taken all of my stuff to my office, and I'm at home, and I was like, "Where's my tripod?" And I found my other tripod. I was like, "Where's the thing that I put my phone on?" And I was like, "Oh, everything's at the office." So I'm like holding the phone in like a really awkward way, but I'm good.
Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable like that? Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm fine.
cool. Well, thank you. Welcome for joining us to 21 Questions. How did I come across? I think I came across a video of yours when you were talking about influencers and you were talking about the pay gap, especially in relation to race. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. I never even thought that was a thing. And it really intrigued me. And I thought, okay, I'd love to get you on. And I've seen so much of what you've done. So welcome to 21 Questions. You have 21 questions or more. You have one pass card. So if there's a question you do not want to answer, you can use your pass card. Okay. But since we've been doing this since March 2020, every Thursday, 9 p.m., we've had only one guest use their pass card.
I won't be the second. We shall see.
We'll see. Guys, welcome for everyone that's joining us. Like 21 Questions. If you're not familiar with what we do, click on our IGTV. You can watch season 2 and season 1. That's over 60 interviews of amazing people with power stories. So that is what we're all about. So we're going to start off with a quick fire round, some quick fire questions. Don't think about them too much. And let's see what you come up with. TikToker that makes you laugh the most.
I don't know her name. There's this girl, she's American, lives in LA. She's like Latino, and I just watched a video and she just talks about J-Lo all the time. She's my favorite. I don't know her name.
J-Lo.
Yeah, she talks about J-Lo all the time. So if you
Love
know who
it.
I'm talking about in the
Comment section,
comments.
yeah, put it in the
Yeah.
comment section. Who is the latest sign into 7/6 that you're really, really excited about?
I actually don't know who the last person we signed is off the top of my head. But I love all of our talent
Yeah.
equally. They are all, this is like really like mum thing to say, but they're all so different and they're all amazing. We've got such incredible talent and none of them sit in the same category. So all of them, every single one of them.
All different, love it. What is your favorite part? This is one of your, I know this is one of your favorite songs. What is your favorite part in The Boy's Mind?
This is one of my favorite songs. The beginning, he's like, hello. You know, like, I know your name. I know who this is. That bit. But it's still one of my favorite songs, although I do love Brandy.
Yeah. Finish this quote. If you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it,
do it in your own way.
Close.
I don't know what the quote is, but that's what I would say. I don't do quotes. I don't do fun thing about me is I don't know any like like phrases or like rhymes. I know nothing and I make them up and my family always take the piss out. I don't think it's that, but take the mick out of me because I never learnt them.
Oh, because you never learnt them. Okay. Well, this one is from Maya Angelou. Let me actually get the proper quote. It says, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude.
Guys, do it in your own way.
Yes, we'll take that. We'll have that. What do you miss about MySpace?
Everything. I miss how like geeky how geeky you could be on it. So like if you wanted to like code your page, you could just like do it. I miss how just personal it was and how there's literally like there was no algorithm. It was just like people found you because you created content and then you became friends. That was it. Yeah,
100%.
No competition.
Have you been on it recently?
No, I haven't. I need to. I think I'm just going to... It closed for a little bit, like, because it got bought out, but I don't know if it's still around, but I would happily make an account. Because
I think they've got they did a rebrand, and I've done it. A rumor was Justin Timberlake invested in it or something. But yeah, I might actually go over there again as well.
Yeah, after this, let's all go over.
Yeah, start the new wave. What's your favorite Biscoff product?
The Lotus spread.
Yeah.
You've done some weird ass research on me.
That's what we gotta do. I'm a Biscoff lover as well. I'm a Biscoff fan. But when you say spread, let's see if Charlotte gets this. Are you a soft spread or crunchy spread?
I don't like crunchy stuff. My partner loves anything crunchy. Yeah, so I'm always just like, no, babe. So we have to buy different, like, we have like smooth peanut butter and crunchy peanut butter, and I'm smooth. Yeah.
Have you seen the white chocolate Biscoff? So it's white chocolate, but then it's got Biscoff crunched into it.
I haven't had it yet, but I've seen it. I've seen everything. I'm on I can only buy one product at a time. I'm on a bit of a ban. Yeah, it's true. So but we've got some in the office.
Oof, I hear you. Wait, have you tried so Biscoff on toast? But before you put the Biscoff on top, sprinkle garlic salt.
I have a really bad intolerance to garlic. So it's just not. But salt, I can see that. A bit of saltiness. That's random though.
I know. Forgive me. Explain this tweet. So you tweeted this. I think lockdown suited my finances better. I went out tonight for the first time this year and spent more money than I have in the entire year so far.
Let me just see who's in this chat, because Christania and Kira, if you are here, I don't know if they are, they're not. If Christania just texted me, so I don't think she is. It's their fault. We went to Sketch for dinner and drinks and more drinks, and we just got so excited to be out that it was possibly the most expensive time of my life. And then actually that weekend we went out twice. So it was a bit too much. Double whammy. Yeah.
Out.
Out.
Finish this sentence. I feel most confident when
I'm talking about work.
Okay. So about all the work that you kind of do and what you're involved in. Yeah,
not necessarily about myself, but about my job. Yeah. Anything work related. I'm a bit of an introvert. And I'm actually I'm an introvert extrovert. So with my friends, I'm quite extroverted, but with people I don't know, I'm very introverted.
Same.
And I find it very difficult to make small talk.
Same.
And the only small talk I know how to make is about work.
So how are you in like a networking setting? Do you like networking?
I hate it. I find it really difficult.
Can we have a high five for the screen, please? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. I do it and I'm good at it. Because I treat it as like a game. I'm like, okay, cool. So if I could just get this done, I speak to this amount of people. Like I scan the room, I know who I need to speak to, and then I literally go. I'm always the first person to leave.
Oh, okay. Okay, so once you've done your networking, you're off.
Yeah, I don't like it. I get like really sweaty and uncomfortable. So.
Yeah. I say I'm an introvert, but I do extrovert things.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
but naturally, introvert. But one song that really uplifts you. So if you are you're down, if you play that song, it's really going to change and uplift your mood.
I really like Queen Latifah, Unity.
Okay,
Unity. That's one that really like brings me up. Or any like 90s pop song. I love listening to like Euro trash, like really trashy pop music. My friends, Kira and Chrisania, my two best friends, like my ideal like life situation is like being in Paris in a really tiny, crappy little gay club that is just playing 90s pop.
Yeah.
That is like heaven. And that's why I love karaoke. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Karaoke lover. Okay. When did you last cry and why?
Yesterday. Because I'm such a gimp. I got invited to come on Sky News to talk about work, and I was really scared and overwhelmed, and I cried in my office.
Man.
And then my assistant was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "No." And it was because we're new to being in the office, so they don't really know me, to be honest. And it was the first time that they'd seen that I am actually off of my hinges, and they were just like, "Oh."
Feeling that yesterday? How did you feel after you did the interview?
Fine. I was just like, I've got so much work on at the moment. I was just like, cool, yeah, that's done then. Like I came home, my boyfriend like popped a bottle of champagne, and I was just like, what are we celebrating? And he was like, you were on Sky News. No, this wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. He was like, you were on Sky News, and I was like, oh yeah, that happened. And I was like, so much has happened in between then and now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really have time to like think about these things, which I think is a good thing, because if I did, then I think I'd be a wreck all the time.
Yeah. Interesting. Something that made you smile this week?
She's in here. My sister-in-law, Lauren, sent a picture today of my nephew, and he was so cute, like swinging on this swing, and I genuinely had to send it to my friends, and I was just like, this has made my day. I had a bit of a rubbish day today, and I feel a bit overwhelmed, and I just saw that, and I was just like, oh, he's so pure.
At least there's that there to kind of feel strength from. Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
One meal you could eat forever?
One meal I can eat forever. Dishoom's biryani. What's it called? Berry Britannia, I think it's called.
Okay.
It's a chicken biryani with, I think it's got cranberries in it, and I could literally eat it. I dream about it. I could literally eat it all day, every day, with their broccoli salad on the side and the black dal. Like that, I could eat that every day.
Come on. That sounds like a meal time right now. Favorite Marisha character?
Marisha. She's great. I also really like Dee, because she's just like she's just like really sassy, and I had to Google her and her character just to check this whole Jamaican situation, and it's legit. So I was like, okay, cool.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you've made it. That was your light work quick fire round. Come on, a round of applause, please, in the comment section. That was light work. If you're joining us just now, welcome to 21 Questions with Charlotte Williams. We are raising money for MTV Staying Alive Foundation. They are all about creating content that is helping people make better sexual health choices globally. All right, so they make the content and they get it out there. So if you want to donate £4, £5, £6, £10, £4,000, whatever it is, please get involved. We've picked a charity every single week, and this is who we are doing today. So please get involved. So let's get into it. I want to start from, start from top family. Looking at what was one of your favorite family, what was one of your favorite childhood memories?
Put me on the spot. Favorite childhood memories. So my parents used to ship me off to Spain every summer because my cousins lived there, and I really enjoyed that. So just actually no, do you know what? Similar vein. My favorite childhood memory that just describes me so well, and that I talk about a lot with my family because I find my mum so annoying because she loves surprises, is I used to get sent to Spain a lot because it was just easier to get me out of the way, which was great. I studied Spanish at university, so it was very good for my education. But I remember I was like 14, 15, and my mum was like, right, this weekend, you've got two choices. We can either go to Karen's house, and she's got a trampoline, and this was when do you remember when trampolines were like the hype?
Yeah.
She's got a trampoline in her garden, and we can go, and you can go chill in her garden and play on the trampoline, or we can go to Spain with you and like go and do this thing that. And I was like, oh my god, the trampoline, that's amazing. And she was like, no, we're going to Spain. And I was like, no, I'm on the trampoline. And she was like, no, the tickets are booked, we're going to Spain. Like trampoline wasn't the good option. And I was like, oh, what? And that keeps coming up as something that I keep like reminding my mum about, and we spoke about it on the weekend, so let's just use that one as an example.
Love it. Let's take that one. Spain it is. I've noticed that I'm a parent, 2-year-old daughter, and I remember growing up, and I remember my dad was downstairs one time, and I heard this noise like clack, 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 clack. Now, you know those toys, and I don't know, you can swing them.
Yeah.
So we had that
clackers. They're called clackers.
That's it, clackers. We had that in the house, and I thought it was late. It was late. I'm talking going to midnight. And I thought it was my sister, my younger sister, and I thought, my gosh, I'm going to go downstairs there, and I'm going to shout, like, what are you doing? It's late. Got downstairs, and who was it? It was my dad going, clack, 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 clack. I was like, what are you doing? And I laughed, and then I went back upstairs. But it was an observation I had that really made me think, as a father now, how you've got to take those moments to be fun and to be great with your children. And I wondered, with your parents, were there any things that you observed from them? Not things that they sat down and taught you, but things that you observed from them and learned from them that kind of fed into who you are now?
Definitely. I am a carbon copy of both of my parents. So I look a spitting image of my dad, which is like the female version or slightly lighter. And my mum, I am her. Like, it's insane how similar we are. And I think I've definitely, I just kind of, without even wanting to, I've become both of them. So yeah, I think I've really just absorbed everything from them. There's nothing that I don't have. From my mum's, just like her reactions to things. She's quite stern and she's quite assertive.
Yeah,
we'll use that word. She's quite assertive, and I can be quite short and quite curt sometimes, and I got that definitely from her.
And sorry, is that when a certain situation happens? Or,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then my dad's very particular and likes things a certain way, and I think I'm the same as him on that. There's lots of good things I've got from them and bad things, but also my parents are really fun and playful. We saying that about your dad and the clacker makes me think of my dad, and he was always playing. We always were doing something. He used to work in, we lived in Hertfordshire and he worked in London, so he used to leave early and come home late. But when he wasn't working, we'd be like playing and going and doing football stuff. I never did football, but he would always take me to do football things, be that play or watch or whatever. We'd always be at the park or going to some random picnic or going away. We went on a lot of holidays. a lot of camping. My parents just really into just living life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really enjoyed my childhood.
That is beautiful, man. Because I don't know, like even as a parent now, if I take my daughter to the park, in my mind I'm like, oh, this is just the park. I wish I could take her to Disneyland or something
But
like
it's
that.
enough.
But I know, and that's what I'm realizing, that those small excursions are like, in their mind and in their eyes, it's amazing. And I think as long as you can kind of keep that and open them up to different things, then I guess the more varied their childhood, can be.
Definitely. And there's an interesting dynamic because my mum, she worked, but she created a life that she was able to look after her children and work at the same time. So she
She
didn't.
was a childminder.
She was a childminder, and she also worked on weekends in retail. But my dad worked in head office and was just not home during the week. So that dynamic was really interesting because I felt, looking back now, I feel bad for my mum because like we were with her all the time. So if she'd take us anywhere, it wouldn't be exciting because we're with mum all the time.
Yeah.
But she did a lot. And then my dad, whenever he'd take us somewhere, it was really exciting. But we hardly saw him. So it wasn't like, the balance is so tipped. And it's something now, knowing, my partner and I are looking to have kids soon. And it's something that I don't think will be the same. I don't imagine I would stay at home with my kids. Just my job wouldn't really allow it. Yeah. So we'd be more balanced, and it's, I guess, they'd choose who was more exciting, even though it would be the same.
It's interesting because obviously with COVID now, that with a lot of families, it really it's interesting now. You might have both parents home. Like for me, since lockdown, the first lockdown, my daughter has seen me and my wife every day, like wake morning and nighttime, like every day. Whereas before, I'd have to, before I would leave at 7 a.m. and I wouldn't get home till about 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So in a way, I COVID for me in that sense has been good because I've been able, and she's in her critical years. So we've been able to be there. But it'll be interesting now as things open up. That's been one of my heart palpitations, that as things open up and I have to go to the office, that's a start again. But there we go. How many siblings do you have? Is it just one sister?
No, I have 3 siblings. I have 2 brothers and a sister.
And where do you sit in that? Are you the oldest, youngest?
I'm the middle. So we've got quite large age gaps, really, really large. So my older brother is 37 or 38, one of those two. I'm 31. Oh no, he'll be 38. Yeah, I'm 31. And then my younger brother and sister are 25 and 26.
Wow.
So there was just like a big gap.
Yeah. And what is your relationship like within that mix?
It's all really individual. It's quite interesting. We're all close, but in different ways. My brother, he's older, so he has a family. He started his family when he was in like his late 20s. And they live in West London, and I live in North, so it's like we don't see each other that much, but he's just like a dad. It's just like really weird. And then my younger brother's also a dad, but he lives really, really close to my parents, and I see my parents quite a lot, so we're really close. And then my sister works with me, so we're unfortunately close because we do everything together. But we've been really close since she was about 13. We've been really good friends. And she is technically my best friend, but I don't ever like to say it because we have our own like lives and relationships outside of each other. So,
and all these relationships, parental, siblings, they all pour into us in different ways. And I wonder if you choose to want to be a parent one day, does it kind of inform how you want to be, how you would like your children or siblings to be? How does that affect you?
Definitely. I'm very family orientated, and I think this is something that people know about me. I'm obsessed with my family to the point where a lot of the time I don't see anyone apart from them because there's so many of us. So it's just like, why would I need to see anyone else? And then my partner has 2 siblings, and his older sister just had a baby. So we tend to just try and see our family as much as possible. And I want our family to be really close when we do.
Okay.
Hopefully, if we can have kids, and if we do have kids, we I'm so blessed to have such great siblings, and I already have nieces and nephews, so it's really nice to know that they'll have like these really cute, cool older cousins, and I'm just really into that. I just want to be that really like annoying family that everyone goes on holiday together, and like all the cousins are best friends by force or by fire, and they just are always together. I don't know if that will be the case, but when I was younger, I was very close to my older cousin, who I'm very grateful. I say this a lot, but have had her, because she was like having a sister, because I had an older brother. It's not the same. So having her was literally like having an older sister. And she very much shaped my identity as a woman. And I think I say this a lot because my mum's white. So, and I was talking to my mum about this the other day, and that I don't look at my mum and see myself. And when I looked at my cousin and her mum, my dad's sister, I could identify more, and they helped me see who I was, which was really nice. Even though my mum told me who I was, and she did a very good job at that kind of visual representation of having those older females, that kind of helped me realize, I am like great. I am, because that's not necessarily what I was being told by other people. So it was nice to have that as a young person.
That's beautiful, man. Oh man, that's beautiful, because it's so beautifully feeds into what you do now in pushing that representation to the forefront. And whether that is knowingly or unconsciously, it's just seeping out of you. You're doing that for so many other young boys, other young women, by giving them that representation, you know what I'm saying? So hats off to you. Hats off to you. You talked about, what you were and were not told. And there was a story that you said in one interview about being in school, and a book was read, Elmer the Elephant. And how Elmer the Elephant was a unique elephant, and it was, in a sense, to celebrate that elephant's uniqueness. And I wanted to ask, do you still feel like the elephant in the room, in the different rooms that you go into?
It's really funny. I've got an elephant book here.
You're lying.
My friend's having a baby, and I just bought her some books.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I was like, here's one I made earlier. To date, my favorite book for kids. Wow. Yeah, I don't feel like an elephant. I don't allow myself to. I grew into really knowing myself, I think. Obviously I have issues like everyone, and like most women, with maybe my appearance and normal things, but I'm very just like, this is who I am. I don't, in fact, I like to be as big as possible to maybe get attention, and maybe sometimes knowing that I am one of the very few people that looks like me that gets asked to do things in my industry, or is known, so that I can be like, hey, we can do this. Like, I did it. You know who I am now. Find someone else that looks like me. I've actually got lists. So if you'd like to showcase, and I kind of use that to my advantage in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's maybe good in some sense to be an elephant. And I think my hair is something that I've really grown to love, because I had it straight for so long. And my brother and I were talking about this the other day. He was just like, we had this argument about race and different things, and he was like, well, you straightened your hair for so many years, trying to be something that you weren't. And I was like, yeah, wow. I did that. You tried to hurt me, but that's the truth. I did do that. And then I kind of woke up and realized, that first of all, my hair looked crap because I'm straightening it every day, so we need to like give it a rest. But secondly, like, just get over it, Charlotte. This is what you look like. And now sometimes my hair's massive, and I walk into a room and that's what people see. Excuse me, I'm in a very warm room. That's what people see before anything else. So yeah. that's now become your crown, in a sense, or it's something to show off. Yeah, I've got like a scar on my head here. Oh yeah.
And so growing up, I would always wear a hat. I would always wear a hat wherever I went, because that was the one dart you could throw at me. and that would be my weakness, and so that would protect me, and nobody would see it. And people used to say, you know, oh, it looks like a nice hairstyle, but me, I know it's a scar from my birth. You know, it's from my childhood. But I remember that you said I would look in the mirror, and I was going to go out once, and I was going to put on a hat, and I said, yeah, but if you put the hat on, or if you don't put the hat on, the scar is still there. So you're going to have to, you're going to just have to own this.
Yeah.
And I think that day was the turning point where it was like, if I walk into a room, I want you to see it. And if you got questions, then we answer those questions.
Yeah, it's a conversation starter.
Yeah, this is me. And this is me, who I love, who I am. And even I was given the chance to change it. I was given the chance to have an operation to cover it. And my dad said, do you want to go for it? And I had to really think. And I thought, okay, you know, through my childhood, I've always wondered why nobody had a scar like me. Maybe this is the chance to rewrite that story. And I said, nah, I'm good. Because this is my identity. When you see me, you know I was in the room. Oh, that guy with the scar. Yeah. So even if, whichever way, you remember who I am. So
it'd be weird if you didn't have it anymore and you were just like, it's not me.
It's not me.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's powerful. You talked about, on Twitter, you talked about how you sometimes use Twitter as a soundboard and say a lot of things.
Oh my God. My tweets are actually out of control. My friend texts me like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, good.
I'm like, oh, I've been on Twitter. Okay, yeah, no, I'm fine.
And you mentioned that one at the end of one tweet. You said, I know I'm complaining a lot, but I think what I really need is therapy. And then you gave a tweet out asking for a therapist. And I wondered, did you take that offer on? Have you started therapy? And if so,
I booked a therapist literally an hour after that tweet.
No way.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get sweet so I can
That's right.
suck on it to stop my cough. Yeah, I was going through a really tough moment in my life at that point. I was just really overwhelmed with work. It was just really, things were just really hard and really real. And I got a therapist and she was amazing.
Wow. How has it helped you navigate when you do get into that space of feeling overwhelmed now?
I think I had to talk a lot through. I think I had to go back and like really understand why I was feeling these ways, what it was that was like stressing me out, and what I could deal with and what I couldn't deal with. And she made me realize that some things I actually couldn't deal with, and a lot of it was just being throwing myself. It wasn't by anyone else, but throwing myself into this life of entrepreneurship and being in charge really quickly. I grew my company a little bit too quickly, and it's even now, like I'm having a really tough day today with work, and I realized that it happened, so I had to talk it through with my sister. I spoke to someone, a consultant, for the problem I'm having, and we're going to meet on the weekends. But yeah, she just made me realize that I am actually going through some bits and I need to just deal with them. And I was using Twitter to complain about things that I really just needed to talk through with someone. And I find myself now, we're on a break at the moment because we've reached a natural end where I don't necessarily need her, so I call her for check-ins. And I tweeted something the other day because I was really sad, and I thought, oh, do I need to speak to her again? And I was like, you know what? No, I just need to speak to people and be like, you all make me feel like this. Like I can't have good times, because you do this and you do that and da da da. And I spoke to the key people in my life who made me feel the way I felt when I wrote that tweet, and sorted it out. So
wow.
It's like ride the wave.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I started therapy this last year.
Was
it last year? Yeah. And it was because I was on Clubhouse, and there was a room talking about parenting and fathers. And I got up on stage and you're in the moment, and I was just talking. I came off the stage and I was like, oh, wow. I got a lot I need to actually there's a lot. I just spoke it to everyone, but no.
It's really dangerous.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of these talks, and I actually did one last year with a guy called Mark Shaler. Excellent, excellent guy. And he basically sat me down like a therapist, and we had this like Zoom interview, and it was live with people, and it was recorded. And I uncovered a lot of issues. This was before therapy, that I hadn't ever thought about before.
Wow.
Because he asked me about things about my childhood, and I was like, there's a lot here that I need to unpack. And I hadn't realized. And I went back and I listened back to things I said, and I said, you know, if you ever do like release this, can you just like cut certain bits out, because I feel a little bit uncomfortable about some of the things I said, because they are true, but people don't need to know that they're quite personal. And I talk to anyone about anything, and it's actually one of my flaws. And I'm actually looking to get some media training, because I'm very open with how I speak. Even like I do interviews and my hands are everywhere. And my interview I did the other day on Sky News, my nan called me after.
She said, yeah, stop teething your hands.
No, because the last interview she sat me down and was like, you need to stop. Your hands are crazy. And then she called me after and she said, you stopped with the hands. I'm really glad that you stopped doing that, because that would have been awful on live news. And I was like, thanks, Nan. And she was just so happy that I listened to her. But I'm just very expressive and very like I'm easy to like, you just, if you ever, I'm very good at keeping secrets. I can keep a secret till I'm on my deathbed. But anything about me, you can have it. And I'm like, yeah, fine.
And do you like that actually? Because I'm like that as well. And it's only after I've said it, I start to think, were you worthy of that information? Were you worthy of hearing that? But at the same time, I like that I'm willing to do it. So it's almost like this catch-22.
I feel like I don't really care. This sounds really bad. I have so much that goes on in my life. I'm just like, just take it.
Yeah.
Have it. I'm so close. I have such a small group of friends. I'm just like, do with all that information what you will, but they know like what's going on.
Yeah. There's a quote that you said that I would love you to unpack. You said, I pride myself on being a nice and fair person, but there's only so nice you can be until it actually is not fair on me anymore. What made you write that? I pride myself on being a nice and fair person, but it's only so nice you can be till it actually starts to be unfair to me.
I don't remember who that was about, but there's been a couple of situations in the last 18 months where I've had some, I'm trying to think who this was about specifically, but some other people copy some of my work, or basically just try to replicate my business.
Wow.
And it's just exhausting because I've worked really hard, and I'm just like, oh. But my problem is, not my problem actually, the thing I have an issue with is I'm so willing to collaborate. I have no issue. Like if someone did the exact same job as me, and they were like, hey, do you want to join forces and do something? I'd make a way to figure out how to do it. I work with so many of like my competitors, but I make a way to figure out how we can work together in a way that is mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
And that's just something about me. There's always enough room for everyone in my eyes at the table. Sure. There should be no reason why any woman of color, any black woman should feel that I am a competition or a threat. We should always try to be, together, like kumbaya, that kind of stuff. So when people don't recognize that because they haven't taken time to speak to me, and they go and try to be sly and sneaky and do things, it just makes me really sad, because I'm just like, I would have helped you do it.
Yeah.
Like you would have got further. I would have given you like, I meet people and I give them like literally my accountant. I give them templates for contracts. I give like literally whatever you want. like, I'll give it to you. You just have to ask. But a lot of people aren't doing that, and it's just really annoying, and it upsets me. It doesn't annoy me. I don't get frustrated. I genuinely get upset because I'm just like, why are people like this?
Yeah, I hear that. Crazy. Big up to everyone that has joined us for 21 questions with Charlotte Williams. So far we've been talking about family, we're talking about childhood, but also getting to understand you as a person, because I always feel like there's ways that the world introduces you and who you are, but then there's you as a person, you know. So I think that person is more important because it gives context to everything else. And I think you've really, really done that today. You moved from blogging to become an influencer, but I wanted to know, at what point would you say your influence began? Because I've seen so people can just throw out that I'm an influencer, but where did you see that? No, I'm actually influencing people, and yeah, this is what I am.
I think, I'm trying to think. The moment I realized it was a lot later than when it happened.
Okay.
And this is why I say like numbers don't mean anything, because I've got like it's going down. I had like 30,000 followers. I've got like 28,000 now, and it's quite, in the grand scheme of things, quite a lot of people follow me, which is cool. But when I had 8,000 followers, I was like a proper influencer, because which I find bizarre, because now I'm awful. My team hates me because I'm like, yeah, let's do that campaign. And then I'm like, oh, I don't have time to actually create the content or do it. So like, how are we going to do this? And they're like, Charlotte. Whereas back in the day, before I was a business owner, I was just like out there creating content, just like trying products, going to events, like really doing the influencer work. And I would post stories, and I'd post blog posts or whatever it might be, and I'd get like really good hits and really good a lot of people like engaged and involved in what I was talking about. And I found it quite funny because it wasn't until like a little bit later into I was a bit embarrassed. I used to work for Hello Kitty, and I remember my influencer life was actually quite important to my role, because I basically had to change the whole strategy and make influencer marketing like the key moment for them, and bring in a load of influencers and just try and get people to like be part of the brand, but with very little budget. Like the budget was insanely small, and it makes me laugh now thinking how much I actually got through with that tiny budget. And it was because I had so many friends from the influencer space, or like I was able to do some like cross promotion and like things like that. And it was funny because I was so embarrassed about being an influencer when I was there. And it's because my team, actually, some of them made me feel, they made me feel embarrassed. And it's really annoying thinking about it now, because I could have just done so much more. But like we had like loads of camera equipment, and like my creative partner there, Terrence, used to like do photo shoots with me and take photos for like the content for my blog and stuff. And we would just do it in the courtyard. And it was just really funny because I was always like, oh, I need to take some pictures. Or like I'd use myself every now and again, but not often, for our Instagram to promote some of the products if we really needed something to go out. And I was always so embarrassed to put myself on there. And then it got to a point where I left and I realized, oh my God, that was like the most needed part of the job. The pictures of me at the time with the clothes on did really well because my followers came and like did it. It was like a really like easy transition. And now I have a few clients that sometimes I'm on their feed because I genuinely wear their products or I use their products. So and I take pictures for like filler content in case we don't have anything. So I like put myself on there and I just don't care. I love it. I'm just like, it's not that I don't love the attention. I love the fact that I was able to just fill that slot because we needed it. And I don't feel embarrassed to see myself. And at the beginning, the clients were a bit funny because they were like, oh, it's Charlotte. Like, they didn't know how to like talk about it. And now it's like, so when are we having another Charlotte post? Because they do really well, because my audience like it, because they come over and they see it. And I think I was really doing really well at that time. This was like 6 years ago, but I didn't realize. And now looking back, it's like, yeah, you did the job, but you just didn't realize. And now I guess I am an influencer, but I influence in different ways and for different things. And I think I know what I can sell, and I know what I can't. And I don't really like to say that I'm an influencer that sells, because I'm really good for helping people with like finding things, and finding like hacks and tricks and like cheaper things or ways to make money. That doesn't necessarily benefit me at all. I don't make any money from it. I don't get any commission from it. I just post about it. And then there are sometimes I get booked for a campaign and I'm kind of like, I don't think I'm that kind of influencer, but I really like the product, so I'll do it. But I don't know what the benefit for the brand would be. I don't know if they'll get that many swipe ups, because the audience, I like it, but I don't think this is what they really have come from. They haven't come for this. They've come to see me talk about like my cleaning products, or like what, I don't know, random things that like I talk about this all the time, but deodorant and things that I'm trying to like find, because I talk very openly about like, oh, I stink, like I need to find a natural deodorant that actually hides my stench, or oh, I've got awful skin right now, like this is what I'm using. And it's not like selling. I never do like a swipe up link to sell, because I always forget, because I'm actually a terrible influencer. But if people ask me in the DMs, like I'll send it to them, and that's, my DMs are always popping, but not necessarily always for like the brand stuff. It's outside of the brand stuff when it's like really natural and organic, and it's just like, I really liked, please, Elmer books, and I just talk them through. That's when I get like the most engagement.
So your kind of trump card is your authenticity.
Yeah.
And just staying true to that.
Yeah, which my boyfriend finds hilarious, because I'll talk about something on my Instagram and I'll come off and he'll be like, no one cares, babe. Like, I hate to be that person, but like, why are you doing that? And then I'll turn my phone around and I'll be like, if no one cares, why do I have 50 messages asking me about which deodorant did I buy? Or like asking me about my colonic and like where I went and what my experience was. If they don't care, and he's like, it's so random that these people follow you and they care, because he's like, you're just so weird. But it's, I guess not everyone has their own space in the corner of the internet, and mine is just like people who just want to have a friend online, and I'm that friend, I guess. What would you say the baddest or the most misconceptions that people have about influencers or this influencer life? I think that it's easy. Yeah, I like to say that I'm not an influencer, because I don't follow the motions like a lot of influencers. But like some of the creators that we work with, the content they create is really hard to make. Like I make like basic content. I just like, I'm a point and shoot kind of gal, but that's what people expect from me. They don't expect anything fancy. But some of the creators that I work with and my team work with, like Michael Brooks as an example, the Brooks brother, he creates like TV worthy content. Like it's the edits, the voiceovers, like everything just out of this world. Liao, who's Curly Girl Lao, her content, every time I see it, I get goosebumps. I'm just like, how have we signed this person? How is she in our family? Like, this makes no sense. And everyone that we work with makes different types of content. So no one's better than anyone, because it's not necessarily, with being an influencer, it's not necessarily about the content that you create. It's to do with the content, your audience, your engagement, like all of that kind of stuff. So it's all in one. But I'm such a fangirl over some of these creators, because what they create takes them hours, sometimes days.
Wow.
And I just can't. And one of my friends, Leslie, Fresh Lengths on Instagram, some of the pieces of content she's created in the last couple of years, I've said that I could see that on a billboard, and it blows my mind, considering she created it. It's her content, and the things you would see on a billboard would be created by at least like 10 people, because it would be like the lighting managers and the photographers and the videographers and the makeup artists, but she did it all just for this one picture. And it's like,
and even talking about that being her content, because I remember there was some interviews you've mentioned this about contracts and making sure you're reading these contracts because of who owns the rights, etc. What are some of the things to to watch out for in contracts to make sure you as a content creator are keeping those rights and benefiting?
I think always check on the fee, always check that the numbers are correct, always check payment terms, because you can come back to them if they haven't paid within that time. The terms are there. Always check the usage. So in the contract, it will say, you know, you want to do one feed post and a set of stories, and the brands may have organic usage for 12 months, which means that they can then post it on their channel organically, not without any spend or anything, for 12 months. But then if they then did a paid social ad with that content, you can go back and be like, that's not in the contract, so you'd need to give me a percentage of your revenue from that. Because if they put, like, let's say if they put £1,000 behind it, on that ground they might make X amount of money. Let's say they make £5,000 off of that £1,000, so you should take a percentage of that. So it might be like 20% of their capacity spend will be given to you, so that you know are given some kind of money for what they're going to make. So usage is really good, and always just check the deliverables, check that you've created what they've asked you to create, nothing more, nothing less. And if it's more, then you can charge them extra for it.
More.
Yeah.
What's the worst maybe term you've heard in a contract or condition?
They try it. No, we've never signed for it, but things just like anytime I see the word perpetuity, I'm like, are you crazy? So that word gets thrown around, essentially meaning like forever. So we see that a lot, and it's like, yeah, so we can use this content forever on all platforms, paid social, whatever we want to do, it's ours. And I've unfortunately seen some influencers sign those deals and then come back to me and be like, hey, so this happens with one of my friends who we worked with really early on, and I didn't check the contract because we just booked her. We didn't, it was before we did talent management, so we didn't do any of the contract negotiations. We just booked her with the client, and then she went to the client and signed the contract. And she was like, oh, they're still using my content. It's been like 2 years. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And I was like, do you remember what you signed? And she was like, no, I don't have it. So I had to go back to them like, hey, what did she sign? And then they sent the contract, and I was like, babe, you've signed your life away. Like, they own that content forever. And she was like, oh. And I was like, you should never sign in perpetuity. And I didn't check it because that wasn't the job at the time. But now I would never, because we look after influencers in a very different way, I would never allow that to go through.
Jeez. There's a tough shark infested waters over there.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, looking at the time, okay, I don't want to take you too much of the time. You had another quote, specifically, you know, talking about your business. You said, contrary to what internet entrepreneurs normally tell you, running a business is terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the unspoken challenges or difficulties of running a business? Because from the outside, I always say, from the outside, everything will look amazing. But for you, who's on the inside running it, what are some of the unspoken difficulties? I'm
scared all the time. Like, every day, I'm like this close from having a panic attack. It's scary. Running business is really scary. So to put it into context, the reason I think I wrote that is because I look after 6 team members. So directly, two of them I don't look after directly, but I am the hiring manager and I pay 6 team members. One of them is freelance and the other 5 are full-time staff members. So that means at the end of, on the 25th of July, this month, and 25th of every month, I have to pay 6 salaries. I have to ensure that there's enough money to pay the average rate of every job description within my company, the average salary in the industry. I have to pay that 6 times over. Every single month. And I work in an industry where payment terms mean nothing. And sometimes we are owed like 25 grand in our bank account because agencies and brands don't feel like they need to pay on time. So managing that and also not having business experience has been terrifying.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really interesting being an entrepreneur. I didn't plan to be one, and I didn't know I was going to be one, and now I'm learning on the go. And you know what? I hate it, but I love it. So
I hate it.
because I hate having to, like today, it was me and one of my other team members in the office. It was just two of us, and I could just see her like chill out. But I was like, oh, this isn't working. It was like Westminster Council like won't let me order the bin bags, and then this wouldn't happen because you don't have an office assistant. So I actually do everything. I'm the finance manager, the HR manager, the office assistant, the intern, everything you can imagine. I like do all of it. And I was just like, can't do this. I was like, I can't order this. Our bank account's not working for this. We can't take payments on this. And I was just like, I'm actually just, what's the point? Like, we can't function right now. I was like, we can do the work, but we can't receive the money and we can't pay anyone. We can't do this. And she was just like, chill out. Like, I could just see in her eyes, it was a bit like, what's going on here? But I was just, it gets like that sometimes. But then you see like little things. Like yesterday, I was just one-on-one with one of my other team members, the junior, and she was talking to me about some work that she's doing. And I was just like mind blown. And I was so excited, and I just was just thinking, you are so smart. I am so grateful that you are part of my team, that you go out into the world and represent my company, because you are incredible at what you do. And things like that are really rewarding. And when they give you ideas and they talk through things that they want to do, and you're like, I didn't have any part of that. You did that. And then, you know, there are certain team members that, you know, finding things a bit difficult, like going back into the office and maybe not working in an office ever before, and then seeing them like not be happy and being uncomfortable, and then all of a sudden seeing them thrive and seeing them really excited to be doing certain projects and to be smashing it. And that's the kind of stuff when you're like, yeah, all the other stuff, forget it, it's fine, because all the people that I've hired so far are women. So these girls, I'm just like, yeah, you are actually what makes me. And I don't know if they know this, and sometimes maybe that can be a bit frustrating, but when they don't really understand my frustrations, when everything I'm doing is like I feel like all the time someone's mum. I'm like, I'm doing it for you, but they're just doing such a good job, and you're just like, oh, that's just so like, it fills my heart with joy.
Proud mother.
Yeah.
How then, just rounding up, when it does go right and you end up, you know, getting mentioned by Forbes when you're 35 under 30, woman of the city, how do you handle the praise? Is it something that you swallow, take it in, digest, and say, yeah, that was me, let's go on? Or are you someone that is like, oh yeah, cool, that was done, let's go, forget that, next thing? Okay.
I'm that person. I was talking to my mentor about this a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, I get it. And I was just like, I have quite a lot of accolades. Like, it's actually, I'm very impressive on paper, and it's really cool. But then it's things like, I won an award. I can't remember which one it was, but I won this award, and it was like something to do with like women doing like amazing things. And literally that day, I like had a talk with my mentor, and I was like, I can't do this. This is going wrong, and I'm not sure how to deal with it. And she was like, so what does your business plan say? And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, if you read your business plan, like there will be some kind of answer that will kind of lead us to where we need to be. I was like, I don't have a business plan. And she was like, sorry? And I was just like, I never made one. Do I need one? And she was like, so you're 2 years in.
Wow.
And you have no business plan. She was like, this is why nothing's going right. She was like, you've got to the part of your career now, or the journey of the business where luck doesn't get you anywhere. Wow. Like the mentions and all the fun stuff that's happened, that's going to stop now. And like everything else is going to be relied on from your plan and your strategy. Wow. And I was like, yeah, I don't have that. And she was like, okay, so your homework is, I can do this. And now, you need to go away. And that like changed my life. And that's why I get these awards, and they are amazing. And I do sit back and I celebrate with my friends in private, and I do enjoy that. But in the back of my head, I know that I'm not really ready to win certain things and do certain things because I've got a lot still to do, and that's exciting. And I'm that doesn't, it's not me saying, you know, I'm not good enough. It's not me kind of putting myself down. It's me being realistic and saying, I'm so grateful to have received these accolades and to be noticed for these things. But there's a reason I'm not winning like Entrepreneur of the Year or, you know, best business strategist or, you know, whatever. I'm winning like Changemaker awards, which I am doing that, but it's not necessarily about my business. So I'm very grateful, and I'm very excited to be recognized for things that I talk about and things, because it means that people are recognizing what the problem is. But for the business to succeed, to win a business focus award, that would be really exciting, because it means that I've actually done one of the things that's on my business plan that I now have, or in my strategy, and it's like I've worked really hard to get there. So that's like my next thing, and you know, next year, the next few years, thinking about where I'm trying to get to, and it's around like building a really solid, sustainable business.
I love that. There was I think it was Little Wayne, and he was it for, what's that award? Not an Oscar. Maybe it was a Billboard award or something like that.
Okay.
And he didn't get nominated. And I remember there was this big uproar online, and they were saying, Little Wayne is amazing. He should have got it. How could you not put him in it? And he said that, no, guys, I'm so sorry to you. I'm so sorry to my fans, because that is an indication that I haven't been doing my work. I have not been putting out my music. I have not been putting in the work to be recognized in those circles. I'm going to go and do better. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go and do better. And it's that ability to be able to recognize what's going well, cool, what's going well, and I acknowledge that, but I need to be hitting that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, my last question to you. You have not used your pass card.
No.
You're someone, you've mentioned before, you're not big on legacy in terms of personal legacy, but more about change. And I wondered for you, what is that change? And it could be in the world, it could be in your industry. What is that change that you actually want to leave? Even if you close down SevenSix and say, you know, I'm tired, I'm done. What, looking back, would be the change that you'd love people to see?
It's quite interesting. So I'm talking at the moment about my next change, my next thing I want to like move into. But I really, as right now with the work I'm doing, I just really want the industry that I work in, the advertising industry, to not only recognize influencer marketing as a serious part of the industry that needs really like professionalizing and like tweaking to make it a sustainable business that isn't a joke. I think sometimes I do a lot of panels. I did one today and one yesterday talking about this, but you know, it's the wild west in a lot of the time, and there's not enough rules, and it's just so I really want to be part of that change, because I know I can help, and I am, and people around me we're doing the work. But then also within that, the diversity aspect of like really understanding why it is that businesses like mine have to exist. So I really want to like have that legacy, if I were to leave one, of just being like, okay, Charlotte came in with her business as well as other people. I wasn't alone. At the time when I launched, there weren't many people who did what we are doing now. But now there are so many businesses that have come out, and they are thriving, and they're doing really well to help create change. And I want these people, you know, to create that needed conversation that leads to normality. Like, it's not like, oh, this trend of diversity. It's just like, okay, so I've got this campaign, I need to have these. So right now it might be a tick boxing exercise, but you know, down the line it becomes second nature, and it's like, you can look at a campaign and be like, that's not right, because I can't see a broad range of people identifying with this campaign. So that's what I'm hoping.
It's coming. Thank you for your time today, Charlotte. To end, I'm going to read you a letter.
Oh.
And it says, everything you thought you'd be, you are and more. You'll spend years finding your way, going against the grain and trying to fight your gut. In more ways than one when you hit 27 and develop a load of food intolerances. But it leads you to a place you didn't even know existed for you. Experience everything and maybe focus on loving yourself rather than falling in love, as it will take you forever. But either way, you're doing great, sweetie. And that was from Charlotte Williams. So that, I really feel that really encapsulates where you are and the work that you're doing, that you're doing well. And you're doing work that is so needed. My 2-year-old daughter will thank you. She's 2, she doesn't have a clue what's going on. But the work you're laying and the foundation you're laying is going to make things normalized for her. It's going, she watches, things like Jojo and Gran Gran on TV, and there's so many things that I can point her to now that represent who she is, and she can say, yeah, I can see myself in that. And I'm grateful for people like you, for women like you who are doing that, because you are literally creating a pathway for my daughter to follow. So you're doing well, like you said, but either way, you're doing great. So never forget that.
Thank you. I'm going to cry. Thank you.
No worries, no worries. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We always say that anybody that comes on our platform, we become their champion, just screaming about what they're doing. So if you post something, just know we are going to be on your heel and posting that and just blasting that out there. So seriously, thank you so much for your time and sharing everything with us.
Oh, thank you so much. And I hope to meet you in real life soon.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you.
No worries at all. Have a great evening. No
Bye.
worries. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for 21 Questions with Charlotte Williams. Please, in the comment section, let me know how you found it. Okay, thank you for joining us all the way to the end. I know Love Island is on now, but we always just like to create meaningful and impactful conversations. That's what we're trying to do. So if you did enjoy this, as soon as this finishes, we're going to put it on the front page, and you can share it with as many people as you feel can benefit from it. If you do need something to watch later on, like I said, we have season 1 and we have season 2. So please feel free to binge to your heart's content and just let people know about what you've been seeing. We're going to be back here next Thursday at 9 p.m. with another guest. Shout out Mum and Dad. We're going to be back here next Thursday at 9 p.m. with another guest. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you then. Take care. God bless.